All right, good morning, guys, and welcome to those of you who are joining us live here um, for our watch list and strategy build session. Yes, I'll be recording it right after this. I pretty much have it done because it's the recap and the kind of kickoff video for the fourth quarter. So it's kind of two things in one. This is gonna. All right, so as always, the SPY is my representative of the market. You can use, different people do different things, but for me, I like to keep it simple. And this is a real good indicator of, what we're doing overall in the market. And you can see for the last 2-3 weeks, we haven't been doing much. And this is why short-term swing trades have not been, ideal. So just give me the download speed here is a little bit slow. So I'm gonna kind of delay with it, for you guys that are here live. But you can see that the we traded in a range here for the last couple of weeks, and we finally got a nice strong breakout on Friday at that. So this was encouraging. So looking to see if we get some longer term, some short term swings in, things that we could look for 5 to 10% in 2 to 4 days. And that's what I really like to do in a short-term swing account. Now, I do have a couple of long-term swings. We've got, let's see if it's on here, SCG, which is working out beautifully. We got the huge rundown. I got in at 55, and this thing is just working out. I haven't scaled out because I was only able to get like 500 shares. I'm kind of maxed out on my buying power in Speed Trader, which is scary because I typically don't like to do that, but these trades are working out real well. So if something happens, I can immediately just get out of it. But I plan on holding these. Now this worked short term, but this is a long term deal. I think this is gonna really tank here. I think we're gonna be in the 20s here by the end of October. So I'm hanging on, to this. And this is totally different. I'm just kind of showing you what my, long-term trades look like. But I will not suggest doing long-term swings until you have mastered the short-term swings. Because this is totally different emotional beast here. Having your money tied up for weeks or a month at a time is, this is something you gradually have to get into. So learning, and, I started with the short-term swings, and then I built up to, 2 weeks, holding something for 2 weeks, and just kind of built it up from there. Just like everything else is a process. Now KMX, I got in at 70.50 here. I took some off at 75.20. So I'm still holding my position. I'm still looking for 85. I think this will hit 85 by the end of October. the new car sales should have been kicking in. Maybe the money from the government is getting in a little slower than anticipated, but I'm going to hang on to this. If we get back below 75, I will take it off and then potentially reset, because we may be moving back, for a bounce. But I really think, and expect this to get up. Now, cars.com, I'm skeptical about it. We're not really doing anything. This is a totally online experience. So I'm expecting this to take off, because you're going to have more people, more people shop online now. But CarMax does have a real good online presence, which I think is going to be solid here. So as you can see, it's just not, we started when the CarMax bump happened, but it just kind of fizzled out. We should be getting earnings here pretty soon, and I think we're going to get a bump on earnings. But let's take a look at this real quick. And this may be a good short term, keep your eye on it. Let's see. When is that earnings? November. So that might coincide. Well, I think we may get a run up into earnings, but I'm already in CarMax. But this is something you can keep your eye on. I mean, I like, what it's doing. We're forming a triangle here, and this is kind of an ascending triangle. And I'm thinking we're primed for another breakout here. This will be something to keep an eye on. Over this descending support. But look at it. We've got the 20 is trending up. And remember, over the 20 over the 200 is a sign of strength. So, this is worth keeping up. Well, we don't have a 200 moving average yet, because this hasn't been out for 200 days. But we've got the 20 trending up. It's over the 50, which is the longest. It'll probably be over the 90 once it prints. And, would be something to keep an eye on. The other one is not really, it's really stressing me out. There is one that's stressing me out, and this is EFX. I'm still good with this, but and then this made a nice, oversold hook trade. Hopefully we're hitting the third stage here, and we're getting ready to come back. The 20 is trending down. This is what's kept me in this trade. I was stupid for not taking profit here. Just dumb. But hopefully this doesn't come back to nail me. This is the only trade that's stressing me out right now in long-term swings. But I do have enough time to announce those and let you guys know in chat, when these are coming. So I was able to let everybody know when I was taking these positions and what my thought process was on it. All right, so let's look at some scans here. As always, my favorite is the Oversold. I like to trade those hooks. Look at ACC. I think we're trying to make this Um, we're trying to bounce here. Is real solid support. I'm surprised on what it did Friday. Maybe people were selling. I don't know, but we'll look to see if we get an entry here. We may be getting a hook. So this will be good for our oversold watch. And yes, I do have the recording started, I'm pretty sure. Yep. One day I was streaming live. I didn't even know it. Because the stream live button and the recording button is right next to each other. Okay, for oversold, I'm looking at ACC. The ATR isn't quite there, but we are, trading on higher than average volume, so we may start to see a turn here. The MACD is not ideal just yet, but it's worth keeping an eye on because it can make that change. I'll just type these as I go and then hit send. And I think, yeah, it's a financial stock, but it'll be fine. It's not a bank, so. Here's another one I think that's setting up for this week. Is not ready yet. I don't believe if it tries, it'll probably give a fake signal. That's my, humble opinion. But, the 20s trending down. And, of course, that's our target on these. Because we do have this is one of the only strategies that I trade when you have the 20 coming in. And it's below. It's a sign of weakness. All we're doing is trying to catch a bounce here. That's all we're doing. And usually the bounce can give us 4 to 10, 5 to 10%. We just have to keep an eye on the 20 on the bounce to see, how much room do we have. So this will be worth keeping an eye on here. DXCM, I think this isn't the setup that we like. Now, can it come up and reclaim some of this gap, or possibly, or possibly hit here? Come back and hit that level. Let me see, where is it? Yeah, right here. So, it could possibly pull back and, run back up and tap that. This is something to keep an eye on. I know this isn't our ideal oversold type deal, but yeah, definitely keep an eye on this. It can give us an opportunity. This could be just a recovery day, and then we start to come back. But it's worth keeping an eye on, because if we get some strength here, and this thing can make a run back up. So I would keep an eye on it. And out here, I'm merely looking at the technicals here. When you do these, and I make the decision that it's time to go in, fundamentally, I'm going to look at the news to see what's going on. So I think this was an overreaction, and this is what the oversold hook is designed to trade. It's designed for us to trade the oversold, the overreaction. And I think this was an overreaction, in my humble opinion. So that's why I'm looking for the recovery here. EDR, we're not, I don't think this is real clean. Now, this is a solid sell-off. Our RSI, we're at 28. What's concerning me is this descending support here, which is now resistance. You can see it acted as support. We did break through it here, but still held up here, and I would expect it to be resistance here. So this is why I would not put this on my watch. Now, if we crack this, that might be interesting. Or if you want to take the chance, take the risk, yeah, you can do that. But, this is not something that, you can see it's very well stretched out. The rubber band is stretched tight. So the potential for a snapback is there. So I'm not saying this is not a good, look. And if you like this and you're not concerned about, this level here, then this would be a good look. But you have to be careful. If it sets up by giving you a higher, opening higher than Friday's close, gives you a clear entry signal, nothing wrong with taking it. And if you get stuffed here, just take it off, and reset. If you don't see anything else that has a better, opportunity. For me, I'm not going to put it on my watch just yet. Here's another one. Could be potentially good. We're still got the downward trend, so I would keep an eye on it. If it opens higher than Friday's close, it may be a good, a good shot. So we just have to keep our eye on it. The market's gonna have to work with us on these. It's gonna have to work with us. It's gotta sustain the move that it made on Friday. So we'll look at HIQ. I put it on watch. ICPT is looking right. So we're definitely going to put it on watch. You can see we're starting that curl. And this has some pretty good potential. This is another one of those that sold way off. Probably had some overreaction here. So, I think we're going to get some recovery. Will this stay down? Most likely, yeah, because of the news. But remember, we're trying to trade the overreaction. Momo is a no-go for me. It's still too weak. Could bounce here, but I've got some concerns on whether this is going to bounce. I think we fall through next week based on what I see. I know this has been holding up. There's some pretty solid weakness here. We sold off on higher than average volume on Friday, on a day where the market was strong. So I think we're still going to lose some more here. Yeah, I mean it does, but I see too much weakness in this case. I mean, it could bounce here and give you a little move. But, and this is based on what I saw Friday. Friday was a solid day in the market and this thing sold off. And we didn't have any news. So, I'm kind of skeptical when things look like this. And then too, it's kind of grinding down. This is the hook type move I like to see. A nice strong move down. This has just been kind of grinding. And this, it put in this support here, but it's losing. It's just losing steam. But that's the way I see it. SCG, obviously, I'm still looking for this to continue to tank. So I'm not looking at a bounce on it. I'm already in short that. TTS, we're getting the bounce here. I'm not sure if this is going to, get stuck here. We tried to bounce here and reject it. If we can get through this, we can probably close the gap. So this is another lower dollar one you can look for, but my concern would be this level right here. I know we gapped down through it, but for the way I look at these things, just because it gapped through this level doesn't mean it's not significant. There's still going to be people here, as you can see. I'll be on SCG. I'll be concerned when it starts to bounce and make higher highs. But I mean, I'm well in the profit. So when it does that, I'm still going to be good. So I'll look for it to make higher lows like this. We make a couple of higher lows, then it's, I'll take it off and reset, see if we're going to get a bounce. Okay, so you can put this on your watch if you want. I've only got one more spot, so I don't want to put that on there just yet. Unit, kind of doing the same thing here. We fell through this. We didn't bounce off of this, so there's really not much room back up. I'm not really high on this at all. As you see, this bounce didn't really amount to much. This bounce was okay. It's just not showing much. It hasn't shown me much lately, so not really interested in it. So I will put TTS did make the cut. That's 6 to fill out my montage. So oversold is going to be ACC, BG, DXCM, HIIQ, ICPT, and TTS. That's what I'm looking at for the oversold. So next one, I like 52-week high. Oh my gosh, we got 25, 29. So we're gonna have to see about cutting these down a little bit. Over $20. Mid. And average volume, I'm gonna bump it up to 750. Well, that didn't change much. Let's see about a million. Yeah, that gives me a little bit better. I'll look at this first and then see if there's gonna be any good looking setups. This I don't like. That's just sporadic. It's not good. Doesn't look like a good chart. This has already made its move. Here was a 52-week high. We had to pull back. Here we broke through it. For some reason on Friday, it just failed. We had a strong day in the market Friday and this thing failed. So maybe the 52-week, the guys that got the 52-week high sold off. Maybe just sold off a bit Friday. So this will be on the fence because of the pullback on Friday. Let's see. All right, 52-week high. I'll have this one on the fence for right now. Okay, this one's already gone. You can see not. This one's already gone. This is kind of an ugly chart, so I don't really like it much. But we did set 52-week high. We've been doing it here, pull back. I don't know if we're going to get any momentum here. We're trading right on the average volume. Be worth taking, keeping an eye on tomorrow to see if it picks up volume. This is, you can see it's kind of inching up. This is acting as some serious support, but we can say this is grinding up. Building up for a pop here. So we do have room to move. Be worth keeping an eye on anyway. Even though we did get a little sell-off on Friday. Here's a good one here. TER, we made it, had to pull back here, and now we're trying to break through. It's fighting this support here. Resistance. We had ascending resistance here. We had another solid resistance from a pivot here. But it looks like it kind of made it through it on Friday. Let's take a closer look at it. Yeah. So I would definitely look for this to break out. Because a lot of people won't get into swings over the weekend. So this may give a nice move tomorrow. So, okay. Let's go back. So I like that one. Text. Where are we? And we over 70 on RSI. Not sure if this one's gonna have a good push. Let's put that one on the fence too. It's on the fence. I don't like the numbers, but if we don't have any better watches, I will take it off. Okay, that one's gone, I believe. Nope. Hold on. TOL. Let me take a look at this real quick. Yeah, so the breakout day was Friday. Broke it opened over the 52-week high. We only made 49 cents. But like I said, when you see breakouts on Friday, you have a lot of swing traders that are apprehensive on taking a new trade on Friday. So you want to kind of wait and see. I know we passed our 2-week threshold here for the pullback, and we actually pulled all the way back through all of the moving averages here, but we have grounded our way back up. So whether this is a false break, well, tomorrow will tell. If it's not a false break, if it opens higher, it may be worth a shot, but definitely put your stop just below the close of Friday, because this thing can pull back and it could be a fake breakout. The strategy is wait for the pullback and then get it on a fresh break. But we have to maybe we can let it put in a flag here and then catch the flag break. It just have to wait and see what happens, how it's going to open tomorrow. But it's definitely worth keeping an eye on, for this week. Let's go back. Yeah, this is gone. You can see it's already made its move. This is gone, and this is taken off. No, it's having trouble, but it did take off. We did get the break here. So a little bit too late to get in this. You want to catch the fresh breakout. You don't want to catch it 2 or 3 days after the fact. That's not what we're looking for. All right, so let me open this back up to over 10. Now we only picked up one more. Nope. And let's drop it down to where we pick up some smaller caps. And let's see what. Okay, IMMU. Yeah, this was the breakout here. And here's a strategy. Here's a previous 52-week high right here. All right, we got the pullback we looked for. This was a previous 52-week high. This was a false breakout. Pull back, and here we get the break. Once we get 50 cents over the previous high, you enter, and this has already taken off. So this set up last week for us. But this is the setup that we're looking for. Now this did, pull back, a little over, how many days was this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 17. Yeah, just over 3 weeks. But still decent. Ideally we like to see a 2-week pullback, but the way the market was this month, this doesn't surprise me. Finding more like this, won't surprise me, and won't take me out of the trade here. See, SGMO looks good, but it's got some resistance to deal with here. You could keep an eye on it, but you got to be cautious with all of this resistance above it. Okay, because this is, let me see. So it just barely dipped over the 52-week high. So we can, definitely look to see if we get a breakout on Monday. And remember, we're only looking to hold these things 2 to 4 days. We're not looking for long-term holds on these. We're just we're swing trading the momentum over a couple of days. So that one is good. And this is beautiful. This is kind of what we want to see happen to that SGMS. Look at what it did. Here's the previous. It broke over it here, and next day we had the gap up, and it's been running. This is the move we want to see. For our strategy, this has already happened. So, we can't trade this, but this is what we want to see on SGMO. We want to see it break. It's dipped over it Friday. Tomorrow we want to see, even a gap up at open will be good. So I brought the smaller caps in. I like to look at the mid caps first because that's my sweet spot. And then if I have more room, or if I didn't like a whole lot of what I saw on just the mid caps, then I'll drop it down and we'll bring in the small caps as well. Because they can make good explosive moves too. But just remember, tomorrow before you get in, you want to make sure you look at the news. Look at the fundamentals. Tonight, look at the ones that you're the most interested in. Like this SGMO. Take a look at, at the news. What's coming up. Because you definitely want to, know what's coming up with the stock before you get in it. We're building a watch list here, stocks that you want to watch, but you want to go through it and kind of get an idea of what's going on with it. So I like to, FinViz has all of the news here together. Also, it's got this feed over here that pulls from stock tweets and Twitter. Or if you want to use your tweet deck, you can just type in SGMO and have a column, and it'll just feed all the tweets on SGMO. You can go back and look and see what people are saying. And you'll know if it's an individual, it's noise. It's their opinion. You can take that with a grain of salt. But, like this guy, he's giving his take on it, hitting his take on it. So if you get, a news agency or somebody like that, this is stock tweets. Go on Twitter, do the same thing. Let me see. Let's do SG. What was it? And my mind is bad. SGMO. So we're going to click on that. And you're going to get all of the posts that have SGMO on it. Now, if you put it in TweetDeck, it automatically updates for you. If you're just looking at it on Twitter, you have to keep checking it. But you can find some pretty good information on here. And I'm gonna tell you, I like biotechs. I like biotech stocks. No doubt about it. And here is a website. If you like, biotechs like me, I think that's probably the hot sector. Let me see if I can remember this. I have it on my other computer. See, Biopharm. Yeah, Biopharm Catalyst. Yeah, biopharmcatalyst.com. If you're looking at any biotech stock and you want some information on it, so we'll do SGMO since it's a biotech. Where did I type it in? Not now. Okay, you got the FDA calendar. So if there's any stocks that may be coming out, that has anything due, you can look here, or you can type in your ticker. 3/31/2018. That's the next time this has anything coming out in terms of the FDA. So for when I don't do this day trading, there's no need for me to do it day trading. But swing trading, if you want to learn a little bit more about your biotech stocks, this is a good site. You can find sites for whatever industry you like trading. I day trade I'll trade any industry or any sector, but biotech has been my favorite for the last year or so. Those are the ones that's giving me the biggest moves. So that's kind of why I lean toward them. All right. So let's look at, Let's see. I'll add this. Let's see. 52-week high. I've got HFC, STTER, TEX, TOL, and SGMO. That's what I've got. All right, so the last one I'm going to scan for, the 20 EMA crossovers. Here's the one that I was telling you could look at just to kind of keep an eye on. I think it's going to have some decent moves to the upside, just because of, what the country is dealing with now and having to replace automobiles. Now, once an automobile has been flooded, it's a biohazard, and you're not supposed to resell it. You're supposed to write it off and destroy it. Now, there are some with flood damage that ends up back on the market somehow. But for the most part, those cars have to be replaced. And I doubt if they're going to buy new cars. I doubt if they're going to be in a position to buy brand new cars. So I'm thinking dealers like CarMax, Cars.com are going to benefit from all of this. Don't like that. That's too much resistance on top of it. This has too much resistance. Here's a good one here, but we got the 90-day coming in hard. Now the 20 is starting to trend up, but it's below the 200. It's not a good sign of strength here. Okay, here's a good one where we're over the 200. We're sitting here under this support. This is resistance. This is a pivot from the daily. If we can break through this, we're over the 20. We're over the 20 is over the 200. So this is a sign of strength. We're not overbought. We're starting to change momentum on the MACD. So this would be a good one to look at. I only want the strong ones. The only stock that I'm going to trade when you've got a weak signal, meaning the 20 is below the 200 and the stock is trading below the 20, is going to be the oversold, because I'm looking for a bounce because of that overreaction. Over emotional reactive moves. I'm looking for the bounce on that. But here, I'm looking for a nice strong move up over 2 or 3 days, 4 days. And everything looks good once we get over this. All right. See, this is pulling back. This isn't, the 20 is trending down. We're still over the 200. We're still over the moving averages. Have to look into this. I'm thinking we're going to get another push up. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why it sold off Friday. This doesn't make any sense to me. There's no... I'm going to put this on my watch, but I'm going to do some more research on this to figure out why it sold off. I mean, we're starting, here we're making a turn here, and we bounce back, and the 20 is kind of trending down a little bit. Everything else is trending up. So short term, this thing has found some weakness, and I don't know. I can't see where it came from, but I'm gonna put it on watch because I'm curious to see what happens with this. But remember, we're not taking any entries until the stop actually sets up. Okay, we're not taking any entries until it triggers an entry. So I may have it on watch. It may not even trigger an entry, but I'm curious to see what this does. This is something different that I haven't seen or really noticed in the past trading this strategy. On a day when the market was good, made new highs, this stock sold off, and I don't see any news as to why it did. Plus, we traded, 9 times its average volume. Or not 9 times, about 5 times its average volume. So, this is gonna, I just don't see why. So I'm gonna have to go and look and try to figure out why it would sell off like that. Nope. Let me see, we day traded this, but I don't think this has much left in it. We're probably going to be coming back here. We're starting to make that momentum turn. So I don't like it. I don't like much on the 20 day. The 20 EMA scan this week. I don't really like much on it. Now this is running into descending resistance, and we're below all the moving averages. Don't like it. Now WTW may be setting up for a push. It's about time for some good news to come out on it. See, its earnings is in November, so it's a month away. This may run up into earnings. So let's see. The 20 is going to need to curl here. We'll see what happens with it this week. I'll put this on watch. This WTW, I'm curious to see where it's going to go. But yeah, anything that's showing weakness is not going to make my watch. And for me, weakness is the 20 below the 200. and trending down. This I think is coming back. I mean, it held a 20 here, but this has the potential to come back at this point. No, even though we bounced here. And this is, the 20 is above the 200. If it bounces, then definitely this is going to be a go move. But again, I'm always skeptical of a stock that sold off when the market closed at new highs. Always skeptical. But if this does bounce, if we do open higher than Friday's close, this will be a good shot for that strategy. So whatever strategy you guys like, or whichever ones you have that's your favorite, that's the one you're going to focus on. I have my go-to strategy. That's the oversold. If that's not giving me anything, I'll look at the 52-week high. If that's not giving me anything, I'll go to the 20, EMA crossover. But if you like the 52-week high better, then that's where you start. If you like the 20 EMA crossover better, then that's where you start. You can't watch all three at the same time. That will drive you insane. So I'm only watching one because I'm doing this in relation to my day trading. Now, if you're just swing trading exclusively, then yeah, you can probably watch and take a trade in all three strategies. But, I'm day trading and then I'm swing trading, to supplement day trading. All right, guys. Do you have any questions? Yep. What I'm trying to do is use this classroom, and have it open in the morning, for like the first 2 hours or so for the swing trading. That's my plan. Because I think I get 60 hours a month. And, it doesn't make sense to keep a swing trade room open all day because there's not a whole lot going on. Once you get in and you lock in the morning, you're not really watching it all day. You're not monitoring it tick for tick. You are, watching the open, seeing if you can get an entry that day. And if you can, you enter it. You set your stops. And that's it. There's nothing else to watch, nothing else to talk about. Swing trading is not meant to be monitored tick by tick, minute by minute. I set it and forget it. I'll look at it at lunch just to see where my positions are. And I'll look at it at the end of the day. So this is the room I'm planning on using. I got to make sure I get the hours right. Because I use this for the classroom and I want to make sure I have the hours in place to do everything. I don't want to shortchange anybody. Plus I haven't sent any emails of me entering because the market just hasn't been there for me. I mean, that's not to say you can't trade this. But for me, you know, being that I'm day trading as well, you know, I don't have time to fool around with the market when it's trading sideways and trying to trade, you know, get, you know, 2-3% off of a swing trade. That's not what I'm really looking for. So now that the market is broken out of this, if we can continue to make highs, you know, these short-term swings are going to take off. You know, again, just like it did, you know, back here. This was a good couple of weeks. This was a good couple of weeks. This was decent. You know, this was real good. I'm going to hold EFX, you know, as long as I can or unless I get bought in. There's always a chance that they can buy me in. So I'm going to hold it as long as I can. If I get another quick dip down into the 90s, then I'm going to take a good chunk off. Because I'm getting close to where I'm going to have to cover. So it's just not tanking like I wanted it to. And I still think there'll be shares. You know, because I'm borrowing the shares from my broker, they can, you know, buy them back from me at any time. Anytime they feel like it. Yep. Some brokers only allow you to hold a stock short for a small amount of time. Yeah, if you're negative, yeah, you're gonna take the hit. Absolutely. Which is one of the reasons why I don't like swinging short. But it's so lucrative that it, you know, so you just have to be very, very, very selective. I mean, you can, but it just depends on the broker and their risk management. It just depends. If I'm negative and I'm negative more than the money I have in my account, they're going to buy me in. You know, they're going to protect their capital. They're going to buy me in. I'm going to lose my money, but they're going to be protected. Yeah, if I'm positive and they need the shares back, they can buy me in. Because remember, I'm borrowing them. I don't own those shares. I'm borrowing them. So somebody still owns those shares that I'm borrowing. If they want them back, there's nothing I can do about it. You know, that's the way I see it. I mean, I may be looking at it the wrong way, but in my simple mind, that's the way I see it. You know, it's just like if you borrow a lawnmower from somebody and you're going around cutting grass and making money, and then all of a sudden they say, well, look, I need my lawnmower back because I got to cut my grass. They got to take it from you, and which means you can't make money anymore off somebody else's property. And that's kind of how I see it. You know, I got to make things simple in my mind so I can understand it. So that's how I see it. All right, you're welcome. Yep, that's why I love this business. Alright, so I'm going to stop the recording here and start uploading it because it's going to take a while.